I don't want to mess anybody's up. I move this here. I know. Good?
You don't need notes.
I do. This time of year, I have to write everything down. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you for coming out and watching us today at the end of practice, and then getting right up here to start this. Obviously, we're excited to get back on the field after our second bye week, which is a little bit unusual to have 2 bye weeks in 5 weeks. But I thought it was good for us. It was good for us to work on the things that we're not doing well. Try to bring along some of our young players. We're smart enough to know that we have a lot of young kids that are going to have to help us and accelerate their growth. We worked a lot of the guys that we're trying to get ready for next year, so we're trying to build the depth of the program and think long term. And finally, we were able to rest some guys, get them healthy, let guys concentrate on school, make sure we have the right start academically. And now we started on Saturday. We're right into game week and get ready for Tulsa. So it should be a great week for us, for Temple, a great week for homecoming. I'm already getting some calls and texts from the guys that played for us under Coach Golden and Coach Adazio coming back, which is great. Some of the guys who played for Coach Harden, Coach Arians all the way back. I know they'll all be there. They're always out there, which is awesome to see them. So it's a fun time for us at homecoming, and hopefully our team will play the way that all those guys can be proud of. So that's our charge this week. We had a good practice today to make sure that we're ready to go, and I think we'll be ready. I think it's also special for us that the school's inducting 6 people into their athletic Hall of Fame. 3 of them are former football people. Coach Morrison, who coached here a long time ago, obviously, and Raheem Brock and Dan Klecko, 2 great Temple Owls, 2 great friends of the program. And just I probably hear from Dan Klecko before and after every game. He's just a true Temple Owl at heart, and Raheem's always around asking what he can do to help. So it's an honor for us to be able to play on the weekend that they're going into the Hall of Fame. So just a couple of thoughts of what we're trying to get done this week, really in the bye week, just trying to improve our team. We know as a defense we've gotten some publicity, we've done some good things, but there's some things we haven't done. We haven't proven yet that we can stop the pass. We faced a bunch of run-oriented teams, kind of made them one-dimensional. They had to throw the ball a bit, but we haven't shown that we can stop that fast, no-huddle offense that gave us so much trouble next year. So Tulsa's really one of the originators of that. They throw the ball as well as anybody. As I told our team, they threw for almost 500 yards against Tulane, so they can throw the football. And we haven't proven that we can stop that yet. So it's a real challenge to our defense to show that we can. We've grown in that area from last year, and offensively, I think it's PJ's time now really to get started. With 11 starts under his belt now, I'm pleased with what he's done. He's completing 65% of his passes. He's got 7 touchdown passes. He's completing 200 yards a game. But I think it's time for him to now go play like a sophomore, eliminate some of the foolish mistakes. He's no longer a freshman. He's got 11 starts. Now it's time to go really excel in every aspect of the game. So he's healthy. He's had a good 2 weeks of practice. I think we'll see advancement in his development this week, and then we have to get the run game going. I know you guys are going to ask me about that. I ask myself about that all the time. Our offensive line has done a great job protecting the quarterback. I think we've taken 1 drop back sack this year in 4 games, and most of our sacks have been on nakeds and silly plays. But they've done a great job protecting the quarterback. But we have to run the football, and Tulsa, Tulsa's a physical group. They're a rugged group, so it's not going to be an easy challenge. But we've worked hard these last 2 weeks of really trying to find a way to improve in that area. So that's kind of where we're at as a team. Excited to play Tulsa. They're Coach Blankenship is a guy that I've looked up to in coaching. He's a Tulsa man. He's done a great job there. They have as dynamic a wide receiver as there is in this league. He was a Blitnikoff candidate, or he is. Had a terrible fracture of his leg last year, but. You watch Kieris Garrett out there play. You're in for a treat if he plays this week, and I'm sure he will. He didn't play last week, but he's at Oklahoma. They're trying to play bump and run on him. The Sooners are, and he's going over the top making plays. He's 1,000 yards receiving in his career, and he's really going to stress us and challenge us outside at wide receiver. So they have another big play threat in Kevin Lucas. He had a long touchdown against Oklahoma. So in terms of the passing game, I think I saw the stat where they're averaging about 229 yards of offense in the second half alone. They haven't had great starts, but they're dynamic offensively. And we have to show that we can stop that. So Garrett's going to be a heck of a matchup. Lucas is going to be a heck of a matchup, and we'll see if we're prepared. Our offense against their defense. They have as good a quarterback in the league, number 6, Williams. He plays bump and run to the field the whole game. I'm sure he'll match up with Jalen, try to take Jalen away. And both their safeties are outstanding players. So they've got a lot of really good players. They face a tough schedule, and I know he'll have them ready to play. So our focus is on our process this week, trying to get ourselves ready to play Temple football on Saturday. So with that, I'll see if you guys have any questions.
Matt, second half, it looked like you flipped the switch with the offense against Connecticut. What did something go on at halftime where you guys got together as a staff? Let's take our shot. Let's get it downfield if we can and see what happens.
I'd love to say that. Like, I just think in the first half we had a couple plays we said once we get a first down, we're going to call this play, and we just couldn't get a first down. I mean, it was really just as out of rhythm as you can be, and but our kids also understand. Like, our kids didn't panic. They also understand kind of how we're playing. Like, we're gonna, we're gonna throw a bubble screen. My dad's gonna call me and say, "Would you please stop throwing the bubble screen?" But we throw the bubble screens, and next thing you know, the safety who's at 12 yards on tape, he's playing us at 8 yards because he doesn't know how to stop it. And then when he comes up to 8 yards, we're gonna go over the top. So it was just a matter of getting some rhythm. So some of those shots that were set up were there, and just couldn't really get in rhythm. And then finally, credit to PJ. I mean, there's only a couple quarterbacks that could have made that throw. Rolling to his right because somebody got beat. He just got, it wasn't really a design thing. He got out of the way and threw that ball across his body. A heck of a catch by Jalen. And the biggest thing I'll say, though, is when that happened, it's like our guys took a breath. Said, okay, here we go. And then after that, it was one play after another. But we have to do a better job of getting the ball down the field and identifying who can go make a play down the field. We know Jalen can. Can anybody else do it? And if we don't do that, people are going to kind of suffocate us like they were doing the first half.
Tulsa's been outscored 59-0 in the first half. How important is it for PJ and the offense to come out firing right off the bat?
I'd love it if they would. It's been unique in that we aren't really getting the ball very much early on in the game. So, like, we come out, like, we go through warm-ups, our offense is ready to go, they're fired up, right? And we play Navy and we knock the ball back for a touchdown. And that's great. Believe me, I'll take that all day. And then they get the ball right back, and then they're on a long drive. And it's about 6-7 minutes in the first quarter, and the offense is just now getting out there. Dell State, they return a punt for a touchdown, or block a punt for a touchdown. And then they fumble it to the 3, and we score. And then they kick it off, and then the offense is getting the ball with about 3 or 4 minutes left in the first quarter. And then last week, 15-play drive. Tavon picks a ball, takes it back 93 yards. They get the ball back. And so we're getting the ball again with about 6 minutes left in the first quarter. So, I'd love it if the offense came out and scored, but our defense and special teams are scoring for us right now, which is great. So I think the biggest thing is, again, them understanding on offense that if we just do what we do, eventually we'll crack through. And if it's great, if it's early, great. If not, it'll be in the fourth quarter. We'll be fine. I don't know. We practiced today a little bit, so I'll have to see how his knee held up through today. But he was out there the last 2 days, so hopefully he can go a little bit. It'll be a doctor's call, though. I don't know yet. Yeah, I don't mind sharing my message. My message is very simply this: we have a way of doing things here which is designed to make guys act and become men. And my feeling is if you do what a man does, which I've said to you guys before, is you don't do what you want to do, you do what you have to do. You're accountable for your job. You're honest. You know all those things. You work hard even when you don't want to work hard. If you have a bunch of men in your program, then when you go out on the field, you have 11 men playing football. And 11 men beat 11 kids, you know what I mean? And that's what last year we had a bunch of kids running around and just trying to grow them into men. And so the way we do that, we have a process. We show up at breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning. We go to study hall till 9 o'clock at night. We don't miss class. We sit in the first 2 rows of class. If you miss class, you're not going to start that week. If you fall asleep in class, you're not going to start that week. And that's just the way we do things. And I just always try to take that example to explain why, right? Because all of a sudden now everyone's telling them that they're good, and when people say you're good, you start to relax. And I don't want to relax. I don't want to relax as long as I'm the head coach. I want to do what we do every single week, and if you do that, you have a chance to have a good program. And so I was just explaining to them, we're going to follow our process. We're not going to all of a sudden we won a game, so now we can just relax. We're going to practice harder today than we did yesterday, and that's how you have a good team. No, I just explaining why. Just because I'm loud and demonstrative, that's just me on the field, right? I mean, I tell the guys, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to be a maniac on the field. Thursday, Friday, and then I'm pretty calm on Saturday, I think. I just want them to understand why we're doing what we do. You know what I mean? How in the world, Coach, does me showing up at breakfast and eating eggs instead of grabbing a donut on the way out have anything to do with winning? And it has everything to do with winning. It has everything to do with being focused on what you're doing. And if you get guys that can do that in the game when things are going wrong and everyone's, our fans are yelling and the coaches are yelling at each other, and you can just settle down and say, let me just do my job here and we'll be fine. So just trying to teach them that. Yeah, it's like anything else. You have to kind of get out there. And so, even as of last week, they were telling me it could be 4 more weeks. And then Alex has gotten out there. So, and he's looked pretty good. He's still wearing a brace. And again, it'll just be, he practiced today. So he hit today. So it'll be when he wakes up tomorrow, is his knee like this, or is it healthy? Well, it's going to sound like coach speak, right? But I guess my point is none of us can let up any day, right? I mean, even if you play, you work all year, and we make these guys do such hard things. Sometimes I wish people would see what we make the kids do, and you do all that, and then you get to a game. Why in the world would you get to that game then and not play well? This Tulsa team, I have a lot of respect for. I told our team, I said it reminds me a lot of us. We had games last year where, they play really good defense and then they've given up a big play here and there. And so the stats look awful, but you watch the tape, you're like, man, number 1 can play. Number 20 is as good a safety as we've seen. And so just trying to teach our guys, the process is to watch the tape. Don't read the stats. Don't read anything. Just watch the tape and evaluate the guy you're playing against. And so, every game for us is dangerous. We're not a good team yet. We're fighting to be good. We've beaten 3 teams that have, I think, three wins between them. We haven't done anything yet. We have a stretch of 6 games. We're going to face some good teams. So understanding our goal is to try to go be a good team, and a good team comes out to practice. A good team goes to breakfast. A good team watches film. A good team goes to class, and that's what I want us to do. He's playing. Yep, he's playing. Yep, he's maybe a day or 2 where he has a setback. He doesn't practice, but Colin's in the mix. So he, Wanemi, Amuso, and Sal Major are playing tight end, rotating with each other. And any limitations on Colin aren't physical. They're just knowing everything. Or it's been a while since he's played. So.
With that running back situation, they have Ketty at number 1. Has anybody? Are you using this week to determine who that number 2 guy is going to be?
Yeah, we did that a little bit last week, and then we challenged them today. Say, whoever practices the best is going to play. We're gonna try to find one other guy and really put him in there. Hood has a bright future. Is he ready? Can he pick up the protections? Can he pick up the blitzes? Can he catch the ball? Can he protect the ball? Is he ready for that yet? He's got a sprained ankle. Is a sprained ankle too much that he can't play, or can he go? So, and then Jamie and Jihad, who's going. Jihad's had some really good runs that have been called back for clips. But he's been a spark. I thought Jihad was a spark in that game. He caught that screen, got down the sideline. So who of those guys is going to be the guy that goes out and plays? That's today's practice and tomorrow's practice will determine.
How much is it, I guess every coach tries to figure this out, how much of it is the line needs to get better and how much of it is the backs?
The line has to get a lot better. Our line has to play a lot better in the run game. In the past game, and then our wideouts had, we ran a couple outside plays, that they hit us for a 2-yard gain. I mean, it's outside. We blocked everybody, and wide out, doesn't block the safety. And it's my bad, So we're just trying to teach them. There's no do-overs. There's no my bads. Block the guy you're supposed to block. And so, believe it or not, UConn had their safeties down, and even though we're not happy with the run game, they were going to take away the run game. That's why some shots opened up. So. But we haven't blocked at the level we need to block at. And they're young, they're getting better, they're hungry. I mean, Shabazz has had a really good week. Max had a really good week. Eric Lofton's playing really well. I mean, Shabazz Ahmed was a defensive end last year. He's going to start his 5th game at left guard in Division I football. So I'm proud of him. He's going to be really good when it's all said and done. He's just growing.
It's almost like it's happening in reverse order, Matt, because usually, guys run block better first, it seems like, before they pass block. Can you just talk about that?
I just think, when you're playing offensive line, you can want to run block, but you have to be really big and strong and physical. That's why most times, your offensive linemen come in, they redshirt as a freshman. They on the scout team as a sophomore. They play a little bit as a junior, and a redshirt freshman, junior, and they play for 2 or 3 years, and they're grown, right? So, Brendan McGowan started 7 games at offensive line in his career. He's young. He's a redshirt sophomore. Kyle's played a lot. Kyle plays really well. Deion Dawkins is a true sophomore. He started 6 games in his career. Shabazz is a true junior who came here at 215 pounds. He's worked his tail off. He's starting his 4th game on offensive line, and Eric Loftus is starting his 4th game on offensive line. So I just think for us, they're just physically and technically yet on their way. I'm really pleased with their effort and where they're going to be really good when it's all said and done. It's just you have to be really physical and strong to move people, and we're strong. We're just not putting it all together yet, and they'll get there. We're gonna keep running the ball and find a way to win without having it the way we want it to be. And when it clicks, it's gonna click. And Leon Johnson's coming. Some of the other young guys are coming, but we're talking about redshirt freshmen. Putting a redshirt freshman out there and go play, and we're doing it. And when they're ready, it'll be good. I don't know that I don't have a good feel for that. I think what we've asked him to do, he's either made a good decision or he hasn't. We've either been open or we haven't. We haven't been open all the time. I'd say maybe our deep balls between he and Connor, we've had a chance to hit some deep balls, go routes, and we're overthrowing them. But I think, like I said, he's completing 65% of his passes. I'd rather it be 70. I just don't know if he's always been comfortable in the pocket. I think he's probably trying to do a little bit too much, but he'll play better this week.
Matt, have you ever been on a team that's had bye weeks so close together at the beginning of the season? What are some of the advantages or disadvantages they have with bye weeks?
I don't think I've ever been a part of a team that had 2 bye weeks. Maybe I have. Did we have 2 bye? Well, last year was the end game of the year, right? So we only had 1 last year. I think the advantages are you can use the time as the first bye week we used this training camp. Really worked them hard. This week we tried to really focus on what we're not doing well, and you can just bring the young kids along. It's like spring practice. So Jalen Robinson, who's a freshman who's redshirting at left tackle, 6'8", 315. He has a week to really get some reps and really accelerate his development. You get guys healthy, and again, you have guys that can take some time to really focus on school.
Hey, man, how much, we talked about this yesterday on the conference call, but how much better the guys, your 1As, how much better are the 1As this year than they were last year? I guess a lot of that has to do with them being comfortable and the guys physically mature.
Yeah, I think the physical maturity has been huge, and then the freshmen. Like at corner, I don't want to lose fact. We have Anthony Davis and Sean Chandler are both playing 30 snaps a game at corner as true freshmen. That's hard to do, especially with the wideouts we're seeing. And Tavon's returning, and Kyrie Lucas is a junior college transfer. So those are 3 new players. So I thought our coaches have done a great job of getting them ready. Physically, we're maturing, and the biggest effect I think when you put the 1Bs in. You put the guys that aren't necessarily, the full-time starters. You put Mike Felton, and Matakevich plays that much better because he has a chance to catch a break. You put Avery Robinson, and all of a sudden you put Ioannidis back out there, and he's flying off the ball. Hassan Reddick was a 3 on the depth chart last week, and he's getting to the quarterback in the first or second quarter, before he got thrown out of the game. But so when you play that many guys, everyone's fresher. Your special teams are better. There's so much more energy, and everyone's engaged, right? We're practicing at a high level. I can go out there today and say to Avery Williams, who's going to start, you or Stephon? And they're both starters in my mind. But, who's going to – then it comes down to who practices harder.
Have you seen Sharif benches 100%?
Not really. Sharif, he had the offseason knee surgery. He was playing at a really high level, and he really couldn't go against UConn. Just couldn't play at a high level. So hopefully he'll be ready this week. Yeah, Ramond is an unbelievably great kid, right? And but Ramond is exactly what I was talking about before. Just bringing Ramond along to where he comes every day to work and practices at a high level and plays at a high level and works at a high level. And so when he does that, he's really good. When he doesn't do that, he's just kind of not sure of himself. But I think what we've seen in the last couple of weeks is Ramond take a real step where he can be. At the end of that game, he made some plays where you said, well, that's what it's supposed to look like, Ramon. And so he's practicing well, and he'll be the next, I think, threat for us.
The defense has scored 5 touchdowns. How much is that building on each week? We scored 1, now we got to get another one. How much is that building week to week?
think it's a great question. I think it's just confidence. It's like when you realize that it's important. The ball's on the ground, instead of panicking and just jumping on it. We jumped on the ball at the 2-yard line against Del State. Freshman Jacob Martin, he could have picked that up and scored and probably be 6 touchdowns right now. But I think it's just confidence. The same kids out there that when they were running down the field on a deep ball and they were just running and holding their hand up, hoping, that now they're looking for the ball and going and making a play because they're confident. They trust themselves. And so, just success breeds success, and that's what it is on the scoring. When they catch a ball now, when Tavon caught that ball, and I point to our kids, 15 plays into a drive on the 93-yard line, and it took him 15 seconds to score that touchdown. Our entire defense turned and ran and blocked somebody, and that's why Tavon scored. And so it's just a mentality because they've scored that they all want to score when they can. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys.